Go.
Okay, the quote is, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Depending on the context of this quote by Mr. Martin Luther King Jr., what is your opinion on what he has said and how it affected the culture during the civil rights movement?
Hate cannot drive out hate is essentially what he is saying.
Right.
Negative doesn't drive out negative, and so the only way that you're going to fix it is by loving other people and looking at it in a positive way instead of continuing to hate, continuing the violence.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said this in a protest in Washington, D.C. How do you believe that this quote impacted the society that he was living in during the 1960s?
Well, up till that time, as you know, the blacks were definitely repressed in a people group, and even though they had rights legally, by the Constitution, they weren't able to practice those rights, and so they were feeling very cheated. And rather than protest, so what Dr. Martin Luther King was saying was, don't go out and return violence for violence. He's saying, because darkness can't drive out darkness, only love can do that, light can do that. And so he was encouraging peaceful protests, and it had a huge impact. I mean, because it was remarkable how many of the African Americans responded or didn't respond to a lot of the hatred and violence that was being, extended towards them or thrown at them. They responded with peace and love. Now, not all, but many did, and it was really, that's what really changed things, not violent protesting, and that won over many of the whites too.
Right. Yeah.
And it's very, I think it's in stark contrast to a lot of what we're seeing today with the violent protests. They're trying to respond hatred with hatred.